Sleeping with my husband's best friend. Did I do it? Indubitably. Do I regret it? Not a chance in hell. I had plans for his ass the moment I met him.
How could you do this to me, Anna? You are my wife! How could you sleep with my brother? I just get back from war!
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Cafe Belmont. My name is James Belmont. Thank you for joining me. Today, I wanted to talk about cheating and what to do when it happens to you. The goal of this video is not to turn anybody into villains and view the opposite sex as horrible people who shouldn't exist. My goal is to give you guidance as to what to do in the situation so you can self-reflect on the entire relationship and choose a better partner in the future. Being cheated on by your significant other has to be one of the most heart-wrenching things another person could experience. This is a person who you trusted at one point. You shared your goals and dreams with them. Sometimes even going as far as to say this is the person you would want to eventually marry. But I want to make a distinction before I continue. Cheaters are not specific to one sex alone. It is not a gender issue, it's a people issue. It is a particular type of person who decides to break the heart of somebody who they claim to love. I hear it often that women cheat more often than men because they have more options, and in some cases that may be true, but that does not apply to every woman, and unfortunately some people seem to believe so. My philosophy when it comes to cheating and my advice to you is as follows. Believe it or not, your partner cheated on you has some benefits, although you might not see it that way when you learn that they're a cheater. In my opinion, the benefit is that you no longer need to waste time in a relationship that wasn't going anywhere. It is better to find out now when you're 18, 20, 24, however old you may be, rather than 10 years in a relationship. But there are certain things you need to keep in mind. For example, were they sleeping with other people unprotected? And do you have any of the diseases that they may have contracted? Another thing you need to think about is your future relationships with other women or men, depending on who you are. They may be affected by the fact that you trusted a person who did not deserve that trust, and your future relationship may be strained due to that fact. But outside of that, it is a net positive, especially if you are a younger person. It may hurt for a while, but your life would be better off, especially if you have friends and family that you have a relationship with. And there's also your goals and aspiration. In a scenario where I was just told by my significant other that they cheated on me, I wouldn't feel necessarily angry. I would feel more disappointment and concern for the previously mentioned reasons. Let's say you receive a text saying that we need to talk. Dreadful message, I know. I'm pretty sure a lot of people could relate to that. But regardless, you go over to their place, you start to chat, and eventually you get to the reason why you got there in the first place. They confess that they cheated on you. After they say those words, they will start to explain the reasons why they were disloyal. This is where you listen and try to be calm and quiet. After their explanation, you look them dead in the eye and you thank them for telling you. Thank you for showing me who you are and not wasting any more of my time. I thought you were more mature than this and that you took the relationship more seriously, but I was wrong. I'm not angry. I'm more disappointed than anything. And quite frankly, I didn't think you were capable, but you proved me wrong. What is going to happen now is that I'm going to wish you the best. I don't wish any harm to come towards you. I'm going to delete you from my phone, from my social media, and quite frankly put you in the part of my mind where things fade away. I'm going to use this experience to choose my next partner wisely, and my next partner will translate into a relationship that would be more serious and does not have childish things like cheating. As for you, I encourage you to remove me from your phone and every other social media that you might have me added to, because there's no chance of rebuilding the relationship that you destroyed. If you were thinking about that, I want you to think of a mug that broke after falling off a table. You can try to reconstruct it to its original form. You will still have those visual cracks in the structure, however. Those cracks represent the broken trust between the two of us. No matter how hard we try, we can never get rid of those visual imperfections. So there's no point being in contact with each other because the relationship is over. I would say something like that. I understand that this is not a perfect example. Quite frankly, this is the best case scenario. Them coming to you and confessing what they did. But your response in the situation should remain the same. There is no point in exerting energy on a person who disrespected you in that way. The point is that you do not give them a reaction so that they could justify their behavior. Remain calm as much as you can and remove them from your life. Another point that I would like to state is that if there was a situation where you see the person who they were cheating with, I would not engage. I would not allow my anger to control me to the point where I am attacking the person who had no part in the relationship agreement between me and my ex. Fighting the person is redundant and foolish. Think about it. You are fighting over a person who broke the promise that you made to each other when you became exclusive. Going to jail, catching a charge, potentially getting injured, all for that, it's not worth it. So be smart and don't let your pride control you. Excuses that they may use to explain their behavior, these are things to watch out for. More than likely, there will always be some form of excuse that they will use to shift the blame from themselves. Usually things like, I felt lonely. You didn't want to spend any time with me. Things that will shift the blame from themselves and more towards you. Another controversial one is that they were drunk and they didn't know what they were doing. Personally speaking, I do not believe in that justification for infidelity. I think it's a weak excuse. My reasoning for this is when you are drunk, the part of you that you are trying to restrain comes out. It is like when you are wearing makeup and then you use a cleansing cloth to get rid of the product on your face. That cloth is the alcohol. When you drink, you don't turn into a new person. That is just who you are, but unfiltered. If this was a normal thing when people get drunk, then everybody would be cheaters. And I refuse to believe that, especially after seeing happy drunks who do not cheat. Signs that you're dealing with a cheater. There are a lot of signs that you could use to determine if a person is a cheater or not. I think most of us know the majority of these things, but I want to focus on something where you can get visual feedback really quickly. It has to do with this beautiful creation called a phone. As much as they are trying to hide their infidelity, they are terrified to get caught. You can use this to your advantage. Usually, their main mode of communication is through their phone. Some of them are smart and delete some of the messages, but their physical reaction when you go near their phone is a strong indication that they're hiding something. A simple test could be picking up their phone, moving it around. You can gauge how they react when you move towards their phone, when you pick it up and put it in your hand. Small things like this. People who are not suspicious don't really care either way. They may ask what you're doing, especially if you don't touch their phone very often, but usually they wouldn't have a problem with it. But there is a visual and verbal reaction when a cheater sees you with their phone. They ask you, what are you doing with their phone? And you respond, why are you acting this way? They might even make you feel crazy for asking that question. That is a good sign to look out for. However, there are exceptions to this rule. For example, if your birthday is coming up, they are hiding their phone a little bit more than usual. No big deal. They might not want you to see the notification from Amazon or a restaurant that you always wanted to go to. It's just something to keep in mind when you are trying to run these tests. Not that you need to run tests on your partner, only when you have a valid reason to do so. In conclusion, being cheated on is one of the worst feelings a person can experience in this lifetime. However, through this you gain knowledge. Now you know that the partner you were with is not for you. You can use this experience to find your husband or your wife and leave that person behind. You shouldn't use this archetype of a person and applying what they did to you to every gender that you date. You should reflect on the relationship and think of things that you might have missed, because there are probably things that you should have seen that you missed, and move forward in your life. This has been Cafe Belmont. My name is James Belmont. Thank you for joining me. Before I go, tell somebody in your life that you love them, and I will see you soon. Take care.